Now, we will move on to where I think everything could go wrong, but that's what makes this fun. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is your one-stop shop to build a beautiful online presence for your brand, and you can use code Molly Burke to get 10% off your purchase of a website or domain name. Today, I am doing a full face of the most accessible makeup that is currently on the market, and I'm not testing one brand, I am testing, let me count, 5 or 6 brands. I'm not good at counting, apparently. Most of which I've never tried before. So this is very much going to be a first impressions. You guys know I love makeup, I am blind. So that's what I've got to offer here. But also, I do accessibility and universal design consulting for beauty brands, in particular on product design, packaging, and marketing. And I also recently did this TED Talk right here called Why You Should Take Your Makeup Advice from a Blind Woman, which was all about universal design in the beauty industry. So I feel like I'm going into this with enough knowledge to really give a good review. What I will say, in the space of intentionally accessible makeup, most of it is for mobility needs, not blindness. We are not really seeing anybody care or do anything for blind people in makeup. So a lot of this isn't necessarily for me and my disability. A lot of this is for mobility needs that I do not have. So obviously, take what I say with a grain of salt. There's a lot of this that I won't be able to give a full review on because it's not for my needs. But what I do want to do is talk about changes that these brands could potentially make to increase the accessibility even further. Because a lot of these brands are specifically saying they're designed with universal design principles, designed to be accessible to everybody, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are actually accessible to those of us in the blind and low vision community, because if they aren't taking us into account or they don't have blind people consulting, then likely it's not. I will also say I find it very difficult to be critical of brands that are trying, because I find oftentimes in our community what happens is a big company comes out and they try to release something that's accessible, and immediately what happens is the majority of the community poops all over them and just says, it's not good for me, it's not good enough, it doesn't work because of XYZ, you should have XYZ. And all that signals to these brands, as somebody who's in these boardroom meetings, I can tell you, all that signals to the brand is that was a failed attempt and we don't want to try again. Because we were told that there's a big market and that people would be so grateful and consume this product if we try. And then they do, and they just get pooped on. And all of the red tape, all of the internal bureaucracy, all of the hierarchy that had to approve of big budget changes, of new machinery, of new tooling, of years of R&D, are like, wow, that was a waste because we got bad press. And not only does that signal to them that they shouldn't try again, it signals to every other company who looks at that failure and says, we shouldn't try. So I really feel like the best way to go about it is to say, hey, look at all these things you did right. What a great first step. Maybe next time we could XYZ. And that like more positive, encouraging tone, I think makes brands excited to further their initiatives and to improve upon it next time. I really feel like with a lot of these brands, they're doing a lot right. Just because it doesn't suit my needs doesn't mean it doesn't suit other people's needs, and that's great. The thing with disability is it is such a huge spectrum. Even within blindness, what I need as a fully blind makeup lover is so different than what a legally blind makeup lover needs. So it is hard to encapsulate everybody's needs in one design. It doesn't mean it's not possible, it just means it takes a lot of work to get it to that end goal. And so I really feel like when I'm consulting with companies, I'm talking about let's make a 1 year, a 3 year, a 5 year plan of how we're gonna get it to that fully accessible space. We don't need to get it there first launch. It doesn't need to be perfect. Progress over perfection. But when we as a disabled consumer expect perfection right out the gate, we're setting these brands up to fail immediately. What I wanna say is all of these are indie beauty brands who are trying more than major beauty brands that have huge budgets. So already, that's a win, and I appreciate it. A lot of these are also run and owned by disabled people and have disabled people that they are consulting, making jobs for our community, and just really having disabled people driving the ship of what we need. That's a win. I want to celebrate and encourage that. But I think I'm gonna try my best to find the balance of celebrating and encouraging that while still pointing out ways in which these could improve even further to include the blind and low vision community, who unfortunately is so often forgotten about in the conversation of accessibility and design, especially when it comes to cosmetics. So before we even get into it, round of applause for all of these brands making it happen on smaller budgets. You're making all the right steps, and I'm so excited that this exists. And really, a lot of what I'm sharing is not just applicable to what these brands maybe want to consider in the future, but to what all brands should be considering. All big major brands with huge budgets should be considering incorporating the design of these products that they're already doing, and then some. And there's really no excuse why they're not, other than they don't care or they don't know. So I am at least here to provide the education and the awareness. So the only excuse they have is not caring, and not that they don't know, because the information is for free right here. And as always, I am always willing to consult. It's what I do, it's what I love, it's what I'm passionate about. So call me. I was going to do my base off camera because none of the brands that I planned to try for the first time in this video had base products. But then I remembered I do have these products from Rare Beauty, which is the under eye brightener and the skin tint. So I figured, even though I've already done a full video trying these products and the rest of the line, it still had space in this video. So as you can see, this under eye brightener has a flat edge, which as a blind person I really appreciate, because yes, I do knock my products over and it doesn't roll away. And then this bottle has a divot in it, which makes it stand out from every other bottle that I have. But also, I can imagine if you have dexterity issues, it would make it a bit easier to open and close, which again, just like all of these brands, or most of these brands here today, Rare Beauty is more building packaging for dexterity issues, but some of their features do also translate to blindness. I wish I had a more full coverage product though. I wish I had more full coverage products today from them to do my base with, because I feel like my skin isn't great. It's like healing from a pretty bad breakout, but this is all we've got to work with. So I probably won't be thrilled with my base makeup. That's okay though, because I honestly, my makeup might be horrible by the end of this. When you experiment with new products as a blind person, sometimes it goes great, sometimes it does not. And experimenting with a full face of new products is definitely a risk. I feel like I used to always do my base with like a brush or a sponge. In the past few years, I've just gone to my fingers. It makes it so easy to fully blend everything out when you can't see. I use my finger to like feel around the edge of my lips to make sure I get it. I don't have any concealer, which I hate, especially because I just put light coverage base on, but that's okay. Okay, I don't usually have to get up and wash my hands after doing my foundation, but I won't lie, that base was very greasy on my hands, so I had to get it off so I can actually have dexterity myself for the rest of this video without everything being a slippery mess. See, this is the benefit for everybody. This is why it's universal. Okay, next product isn't necessarily specifically claiming to be accessible, but the owner of the brand saw me do this video where I tried to contour on TikTok and sent me this because they were like, I think you'll have an easier time using our contour block, which is the first contour block on the market. It is from this company called Cheekbone Beauty. So as you can see, it's a very thin shape on the edge, so you can really like sculpt your face. That's the claim anyway. What I love about it is when you open it on the side, you just slide it up like that, which makes it really easy. I'm not the best at contour. If this looks terrible, it's probably not the product, it's probably just me. I am going to grab a brush to blend it out with. I'm gonna grab two actually. We'll give it a go. Okay, so I'm gonna feel just above my ear.
Cool, yeah.
Then I'll blend it out with this first.
It definitely blended.
Does it look okay?
The bottom is still a bit dark. Yeah,
Okay. I mean, that was definitely easier than any of the chunky ones. Oop, it like slipped in though so you have to kind of like hold it out. So this side might be a bit wonky because it like...
Yeah, it didn't put quite as much product towards the bottom.
Yeah, because it like pushed its way back in.
So I wouldn't start all the way at the top, just start like half, yeah.
I don't know how. I got my live mirror here today, that's helpful. I used to put my contour when I tried it. I don't contour. I used to, stop saying used to. In the video that she saw when she sent this to me, I put it like a bit lower and people told me to go higher, so I tried to put it higher in this.
Yeah, I think when you started by blending from top to bottom and you pushed it all down to the bottom. So it gets darker on the bottom when you do that technique. Yeah, it's very, very blended.
Even?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's quite subtle.
That's for the best. Should I try to contour my giant forehead? Why not? Let's have fun. Okay.
Do you think the rectangle shape kind of makes it easier to figure out kind of where it is?
It definitely does. I don't know if I did it evenly. I don't know what I'm doing. You guys will have to tell me. This has quickly become not a tutorial. Okay. How?
Yeah, it's fully blended.
Okay.
It's very subtle.
Okay. Subtle is better than obvious.
Yeah, I'd say it's interesting because it looks super opaque when you apply it, and then it blends out and kind of like, like a lot.
Now, this, I think for me, is going to be the star of the show. This is what inspired this video because this is the only one in this whole video that is actually designed for blind people. This is Cheekbone Beauty, which is a Canadian-owned beauty brand, an Indigenous-owned beauty brand, and they did a collaborate. You know what? They sent me a QR code. I'm just gonna let them tell you about it. So they sent me the PR package that had this tactile QR code, so I know where to scan with my phone, and then once you scan it, this is what it says.
This is Scarlett's palette, created by Shine Foundation in collaboration with Cheekbone Beauty. It's the first tactile makeup palette for the blind and low vision community. It's inspired by 14-year-old Scarlett's dream makeover, which revealed what the beauty industry couldn't see: a lack of accessible products for people with disabilities. The palette's accessibility features include tactile packaging with navigation arrows, a QR code for audio guide, tactile color guide symbols, raised edges, and wider spacing around the makeup. We'd love for you to share this story on World Sight Day, Thursday, October 9th. Thank you for helping us create a world where everyone can feel seen.
Unfortunately, I was in New York City on World Sight Day promoting the release of my new book, Unseen: How I Lost My Vision But Found My Voice. Link down below. It is available everywhere you buy books. Yay, love that. Anyways, so I did not get this package until I got home, but it has inspired this whole video. This was in collaboration, as you heard, with the Shine Foundation. I don't know if it's the same foundation, but when I was 14 and I had just gone blind, I got a dream granted through the Sunshine for Kids Sunshine Foundation. It was a Canadian organization that granted wishes to disabled children the same way Make-A-Wish grants them to terminally ill children. And mine was to go on a shopping spree in Paris, France. It was incredible. And it just gave me so much joy in the midst of such a dark time in my life. So it's really cool that the Shine Foundation partnered with Cheekbone Beauty to give Scarlett, a young blind teen, her dream of accessibility in makeup. And I want to show you all these details. So it is a very tactile, textured packaging. It's quite weighty. It is very obviously 3D printed. Like I can just tell from the material, but it feels like very good quality. Like it's really well done. And I can feel what I assume is maybe the brand logo here, like a moon and a sun is what I'm thinking it is. On the bottom here, it has these arrows that point down to tell you that that's the side you open with. Although I will say it is very difficult to open. There we go, got it. I am here to make a little correction on myself. From my understanding, I read this article in, I think it was CBC, and it said that this palette is only a prototype. They only made 20 of this Cheekbone Beauty palette. So that is why it's like very 3D printed. And when I opened it, the latch like came off. It's just one of 20 prototypes. So I feel very lucky to have been one of the 20 to receive this. But yes, there we have it. I do not believe this is currently for sale. I am not sure if they plan to put this up on sale. Maybe check out Shine Foundation and Cheekbone Beauty, which I will have linked in the description box below to learn more. And I will also put the article where I read that in the description box as well. And since we're here catching up on some stuff, I would also like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. I just redid my website, mollyburkeofficial.com, which is hosted on Squarespace. I think it's really pretty. This is the update. I hope you guys love it, but we used a lot of the different design tools that Squarespace offers, including Design Intelligence, which combines 2 decades of industry experience with cutting-edge AI technology to unlock your strongest creative potential. Design Intelligence empowers anybody to be able to build a beautiful, unique online presence for your brand. They have so many other visual design tools as well, with visual effects that are built right in. There are dozens of modern and intuitive options that suit any business or brand. And finally, there is also Squarespace Blueprint AI, which is an AI-enhanced website builder. After just a few questions, their interactive design system transforms your basic information into an elevated online presence with curated premium content already added. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, then you can head to squarespace.com/Molly Burke, and when you're ready, you can use code Molly Burke for 10% off your purchase of a website or domain name. Okay, now back to the makeup. And then inside, up here, we have this tactile QR code that you scan, which I'll scan in a minute to show you guys, that corresponds to the products down here, which I believe, are they all cream?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an all cream palette, which is not personally, as a blind person, my favorite formula to work with, but that's just because I've used powder products like blush, highlight, and contour for so much longer that cream is a bit foreign for me, but I'm getting into it. I'm starting to experiment. So anyways, here you'll see these tactile markers under each different color, which we will understand once we read this QR code. And then you also see the raised lines around each pan of product, which I am obsessed with. I absolutely love that as somebody who does need to feel around my palettes sometimes to make sure I'm getting the product that I actually want. Having a raised border makes sure that when I'm feeling around, I don't just like, oh yeah, it's a bit wonky. You know, it's 3D printed, but they've done such great things. So I don't want to focus on that.
Money.
Yeah.
You know, then again, it's just a call to action that these bigger brands can do this.
These raised borders I'm obsessed with because when I'm feeling around to locate the different products, I'm not just like cramming my finger into the product, which when it's all flat, that's what I'm doing. I'm like accidentally putting my finger into products. So I really love that detail. And that extra space, as they said, just gives you your finger the room to actually feel around between products. So now I'm going to scan with my phone. Oh, thank you. There's so much stuff everywhere right now. I'm struggling to find everything.
That also opens up a YouTube video.
This is an audio description for Scarlett's palette. Below the QR code on the top half of the open palette, you'll feel some letters which say more than you see. This is Shine Foundation's belief that all youth living with disabilities are more than what people see.
I think that would have been cool if it was in Braille.
Lip and cheek creams, 1 powder blush, and 2 highlighters. The shades are arranged in 2 horizontal rows that sit below the palette hinge. Each shade is contained within a raised circular border. The individual shades are identified through corresponding raised symbols found below each circular border. On the top left, the first lip and cheek cream, Heartberry, sits above a filled-in square symbol. The shade is a rich, bold, and lively red berry that stands out. All the creams in this row can be applied to the lips as well as the cheekbones or apples of the cheek. Moving directly to the right, the second lip and cheek cream, Elderberry, sits above a filled-in circle shape. The shade is a soft mauve tone for a more subtle look.
Okay, I think I'll probably do that.
To the right, the third lip and cheek cream, Juneberry, sits above a filled-in star shape. The shade is a soft yet vibrant light pink. Shifting back to the left side and 1 row downwards is the powder blush.
Oh, there is a powder.
Cherry Cheek sitting above an outlined square shape. This is the deepest color on the palette, a rich, dark cherry red that can also be applied to the lips as well as the cheekbones or apples of the cheek. Moving directly to the right, the Gold Dust Shimmer Highlighter sits above an outlined circle shape. The shade is a luminous warm metallic that can be used to accentuate the natural shape of the face, including the eyes, and complete a glowy look. The final shade to the right of Gold Dust is Earth Highlight, above the outlined star shape. This shade is a medium warm tone that can also be used around the eyes and to accentuate the natural shape of the face for a matte look.
My thoughts, obsessed with that. It would be so helpful to get that with every single palette. Genuinely, I think even for sighted people. Because the amount of times that I'll ask like my boyfriend or my mom or a friend to describe colors in a new palette, and they're like, honestly, they all look so similar. Like it's hard for sighted people to even see the nuance when it's like a neutrals palette. And so many shades are so similar. They'll be like the exact same hue, but one slightly cooler than the other. Or one has like a gold reflex and the other has silver. It's very difficult. So that was really helpful. One small critique I have is that the 2 on top of each other on the far right with the star filled in and the star outline, feel the exact same to me. It's just too much detail. The circles and the squares, put my finger in it. The circles, squares, I would have done like maybe a triangle instead of a star, so it's more simple lines, just to be easier to feel. And then I also think it would have been cool if the raised letters were actually in Braille, because I can't actually read that with my fingers. It's too like chunky. But yeah, those are my only 2 critiques. I'm excited to dive in. I think what I'm gonna do is the pink blush on the far right above the filled-in star. That is a cream texture, I can feel it. I'm surprised they said you can put a powder on your lips. I've never in my life done that. Does anybody do that? Let me know. If I'm remembering correctly, the girlies told me when I experimented in this TikTok on using cream blush to use, I think, the stippling side? Okay, I'm going to pat in. I may have gotten way too much product, we will see. But what I do then is like stipple it off onto my hand a bit. So I think I have to dig more.
Yeah, it didn't. Here, show me the brush once you're... Yeah, it's picking up a very little amount.
Okay, interesting. Every formula is so different. Like usually cream is super pigmented.
Okay, yep, that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
I definitely had to pick a lot more of this up than any other cream blush I've tried, which often I put too much on and have to like really blend it out. How's that looking?
Maybe you could have dabbed a bit more off on your hand, but honestly, I think it's very pretty.
Okay.
It's definitely very rosy on you, like it needs to be blended.
Yeah, I'll keep blending.
Yeah, it's getting there. Now look at me again. Yeah, let's stop there. And then add to the other side, and then we'll like even it out.
We'll go from there.
Okay, what does everyone think?
He's gotten very good at helping with my makeup, as you can see. So I'm a bit confused as to their description of this one on the far right with the star outline. It's not shiny, it's matte?
It's matte. It's a light cream color. So it's like a highlight color.
Interesting. I've just never done a matte highlight. We'll see.
Okay, it's a powder for sure.
Yeah.
I picked up a lot of product.
It's kicking up product, kicking up some fallout.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard for me to tell.
Yeah, like I'm not really sure. I think the golden one sounds like it would be too warm and golden for me to use as a highlight, other than on my eyes, like too deep. I'm very fair-skinned.
Yeah, this is definitely lifting a little bit, for sure.
All right, well.
And it's subtle, so it's like you can't overdo it really.
There we have it. That is the Scarlet's palette from Cheekbone Beauty. Obviously, I could use it on my lips and eyes, but I've got other products that I want to try with you today, so that is all we're gonna do for now. But I'm really obsessed with a lot of the accessibility elements that they were able to include in that. Really excited, and I really hope that's something they consider continuing to do. Oh my God, wait! I had this highlight brush that I didn't use. Oops. Little fan style brush. Well, this brings us into the next section of today's video. This is Guide Beauty, and as you can see, these are designed with mobility needs in mind, with this really kind of chunky grip on their brushes, and then this, what would you call it, like a knob?
Yeah.
That you can slide down your hand, and it fits like snugly in between your fingers, so if you don't have great dexterity, this is really cool.
Or like arthritis even.
Yeah, like just any form of grip issue. Grip strength, pain. That is a highlight fan brush, but I didn't use it. We have these brushes, which are all the same design, and these are from the eyeshadow eye brush kit. They have very short wands, which I think is great for control. You guys know with me, with mascara, I've always said the shorter the wand, the easier it is for me to get in there and really control and feel where I am. So I do appreciate that they have those short wands. That said, I'm already thinking for me, I'm probably going to struggle a wee bit, but that's because it's not made for me, so. They do have an eyeshadow kit from Guide Beauty as well. What I will say is, other than the fact that it's an easy magnet open, there's really no accessibility in this palette. As you can see, there's no tactile markers. Everything is pretty closely packed. There's no raised edges. It's a pretty standard eyeshadow palette, I would say. And so with that, I've never used it. Could you describe the colors?
Yeah, the other tricky part is it's kind of a mix of mostly metallic or like shiny and then one matte.
Okay. My boyfriend described all of the colors to me, and I think I'm gonna go in with this pink one on the lid to go with my sweater and my blush, and then the only matte one in the palette in my crease. Okay. Yeah, this is already difficult for me because I really need, how do I explain this? for me, with something where the eyeshadow brush itself is pretty narrow, I need to feel where the narrow part is to have the ability to know where to place it on my eye, if that makes sense, because I don't have eye-hand coordination and I'm not looking in a mirror. This is so chunky that I'm like, where is the middle? It's like hard for me. I feel like I have less feeling and less sensation. And for me with blindness, I need more feeling and more sensation as much as I can get. So even like putting it in the pan it's difficult for me because usually I kind of almost feel with my finger. But I wanted to share it and still raise awareness and talk about what they're doing because I know I have so many people on this channel with different disabilities and even blind people who also have dexterity issues. So I definitely still want to call attention to everything that they're doing. But this is also a great example of like what works for one person doesn't work for everybody. And it doesn't mean I have to say that this isn't accessible. It's not accessible for me. It doesn't meet my specific needs, but that doesn't mean that this design isn't good and isn't valid. Guide Beauty was started by a professional makeup artist who herself developed issues with dexterity in hands. So she created this brand to fill a gap in her own life and what she needed from products. And obviously this fills a gap for many people. So it's still great that it does exist. Okay, then I'm gonna go in matte shade. Can you see it on my eyes?
Oh yeah, it looks great. I really like that one.
I love just seeing the innovation in product design that disability brings. If you want to hear more too about things that would help me as a blind person and that I believe would help everybody else too, you can go watch that TED Talk. I'm gonna have it linked below.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like this combo together. It looks really nice.
Perfect. So there we have that. And okay, now, I'm gonna go to lips because my makeup might go all downhill from here. So before it does, I'm gonna get into lips. This is Tilt Beauty. They are a brand that's new to the scene, who is entirely designed to be cruelty-free, skin-loving, for sensitive skin. It's good for people with dexterity issues, hand pain. The owner herself has a form of arthritis, which causes a lot of pain for her. And she really designed this to be sustainable. All of these packages are refillable. I believe these are the only 3 products in the line thus far. This yellow one is a mascara. This middle one is the newest launch and it's a lip liner. And then this black bullet here is kind of like a tinted lip balm. With something like this lip balm, it has a very easy, gentle open magnetic closure. It is a silicone case. It is also a tilted kind of design, so it's skinnier in the middle and fatter on the ends, which gives different people with different grip needs options. And then it is refillable, so it just pops out of its case, which means you don't need to buy this case every single time. You can just purchase the refills and they come in and out pretty easily, and then it is just a twist top. This is, as I said, the lip liner. What color is the silicone on this?
It's white.
Okay.
It's white.
White, and then
Tip is the color of the product.
okay, I like that. Now, this has like this interesting grip, almost reminds me of when you were a kid and you had grips that you could slide onto your pencil at school. It quite literally reminds me of that. And then these are also refillable, just twist up, which means you don't have to sharpen it. I always love that in a lip liner. And this is also silicone. And then we have this yellow silicone tube. I do like that the silicone on each product is a different color. I think that's great. This has a really interesting handle, like a ball at the top and then it's skinny. I like that it is a short container, like it's not a super long one. With this mascara, it's so easy to change the tube out. Like it's really incredible. The designs on these, so cool, so unique. What I will say is a lot of people have tried this mascara on social media and really loved it. I've tried it, I did not love it. Mostly because it is a curved wand. So for me as a blind person, the curved wand is not great because I can't see the curve. So I don't know which way to actually angle the brush. So I found that even though it's a shorter wand, I was still getting a lot of like smudges and stuff like that. So what I would love to see in the future with Tilt Beauty is next product launch when they want to do another mascara is just to create a different wand option, so that there is one that would be a bit more blind friendly, because of a lot of these brands, in particular like Rare Beauty, Guide Beauty, they're not necessarily doing anything to intentionally be accessible to blind people, whereas Tilt Beauty is trying. Like they see us, which I really appreciate. For example, on the boxes that you get the products in and the refills, it does have Braille on it, which is awesome. And aside from Braille on their boxes and packaging, they do also use the Braille Institute Atkinson Hyperlegible font, which is the same font that I put in my book. So they are definitely trying to see us and include us, which I appreciate. But I do think if they wanted to take it a step further, for example, all of the lip products just come in the same color black tube, which as a blind person, if I had multiple of these, there's no Braille, there's no tactile markings that differentiate them. The silicone and the shape of it would make it very difficult to put my own Braille onto these. So I do think there's some things we could do, like creating the silicone to just be the color of the product inside for low vision people, and then maybe just on the tops of the lids, like adding some kind of tactile marker that differentiates the colors. Something like that. I mean, if I put more thought into it, I'm sure I could come up with other ideas, but that's just what's immediately coming to mind as ways that they could make it a bit more blind inclusive. But I love that they are seeing us and trying to include us. The other thing I'll say is also because they are fully rounded and they are really difficult to get to stand upright for some reason. I don't know if it's because of the silicone and the roundedness, but I find it quite difficult to get it to stand upright. And so it does roll around a lot, which is one issue I do as a blind person have with these as well. So maybe similar to the Rare Beauty, like adding a flat edge to it, that would, in my opinion, actually, even for those with dexterity issues, potentially add like a really good option of where to put your thumb. Just some things to consider, some free consulting I'm giving you here.
There actually is a color on the bottom of it, the flat part. There's a sticker.
Ah.
But blind, you wouldn't know that.
Yes, and even very low vision folks, that would be pretty detailed stuff. Before I go in with the lippy, I want to do the liner first. I've never been great with liner, but I've been getting better, although I think this is a pretty bold color choice. So I'm gonna use my finger to help guide. Is it showing up?
Oh, great. You did a really good job. Yeah, the pencil works.
Go me. I do really like this grip. Like, again, this is something truly I think every makeup girly would appreciate. I am gonna fill in the lips fully because the lipsticks are definitely more of a lip balm and they're quite translucent. So I feel like if I don't fill the lips in fully, I would look a bit wonky. It is a very dry formula. Dry is really the only way I can put it compared to a lot of liners I've used. Some people prefer a dry formula liner. Like I find the MAC Cosmetics ones pretty dry formula. I usually use the Too Faced ones and they're much more of a creamy formula, so that's what I'm used to. This is what the color looks like in the tube, which I'm told is like a pretty dark kind of shade. And then I'm just gonna swatch it on the back of my hand so you can see in comparison. It's very sheer. A lot of the lighter colors aren't even gonna come through at all on the lips. Okay, this is where things, oh, wait, before I move on. I also wanna say that the easy open that Tilt has incorporated into all of their packaging is so incredible. Even other brands who are doing products for dexterity issues like Rare Beauty and Guide Beauty, neither of them have done this. I do think Tilt Beauty has gone kind of like the furthest with pushing the envelope in terms of thinking of every single little detail, which I think is really cool. So if you see this, there's like a divot in the middle. You just peel that open and then the box just literally like collapses open and there's the refill product inside. And all of their PR packages that they sent out, all of them, I've gotten two, have that easy tear box. Like they really thought of every detail, which I appreciate. Now we will move on to where I think everything could go wrong, but that's what makes this fun and experimental. I have a gel eyeliner, which I never use liquid or gel liners because they're very inaccessible. But the Guide Beauty one claims that they've taken into account like a lot of different skill levels, disabilities. I'm just gonna give it a go and I can always wash my face off. They have this tool that goes with the gel liner, which is like this scooped silicone tip applicator with an opening. And then there is this divot for your finger, presumably, and then the handle. It's very interesting. I've never seen anything like this. And honestly, I have no idea how to use it. So I think I'm gonna have to like look it up on their website. This is the actual gel liner. I picked the brown one, which I'm assuming is probably like a dark chocolatey brown.
Very similar to what's on your lips.
I do like the shape of this container, which I think is like, it is definitely way easier to grip, even again for me with somebody who doesn't have dexterity issues, than a circular container. So I really like that. I genuinely have to look up how to use this. Okay, so on the box for this product, there is no tactile QR code or way for me to get instructions. So my boyfriend's gonna read them to me because they are visually written on the box for this really interesting contraption.
Okay, so the first thing it says is glide the precision tip across cream eyeliner to lightly coat both sides.
I don't want to do it yet because I really want to make sure I get the mechanics down first.
If I take it, put your hand out flat for me. I'm gonna show it. It's pictured like this is what they're doing.
So I go both directions.
Yes. Second step, place index finger on the flat notch and rest the wand against cheekbone. I think you're supposed to hold it vertically. In the picture, it's shown vertically against the eyeliner. Yeah.
Like that?
So, and then it looks like the rubber tip would be lining up with the line of, yeah, exactly. So it would be like that at that height. So the rubber tip would press against it would be like pressing, like you'd get it at the right height. So it kind of like, yeah, so it lines up.
Okay.
That's my guess. That's how it looks in the picture.
Huh.
Then it says tilt and trace. Tilt the precision tip so it rests just above lashes and trace liner along lash line.
I'm very intrigued because nothing's ever worked for me to be able to do liquid or cream liner on my own. Doesn't mean other blind girlies haven't figured it out. I just haven't. So if this works for me, I'll be very excited, but I am skeptical.
What you just did was like perfect. Like you nailed it. It like gets the height and the angle just right.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued because all face shapes are different. Okay, so I'm going to swipe one way.
Yeah.
I am absolutely shaking in my boots. Oh, I'm nervous. Okay.
The trick though is gonna be to get that tip to line up.
I know, because I can't see, but it has product on it now. Okay.
So I think it kind of worked. It's like a little smudgy at the end where the wing is, but the rest of it's fine. Here, open your eyes and look at me. Oh no, it got on the bottom. Yeah, it's still kind of smudging quite a lot. Like, I mean, not much more than mascara does anyways. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to say.
See, it gets really difficult, when you switch to the far side. I'm not ambidextrous. Okay,
Yeah,
let me
I
try
think
like
that's,
that.
yeah, like that. And then I think by resting it will really help. Definitely need some practice. Yeah. It's like weird. The rubber, I feel like does not like do like a clean line.
Yeah, it's hard to just do a smooth, straight across line.
Yeah, without seeing.
I think this is the easiest doing liner has been in terms of cream or gel. If I do liner, typically when I do a liner, I use a shadow, like an eyeshadow with an angled brush, or I use a pencil liner. And those are the ways I've personally found it easiest to do liner, though at this point in my life, I rarely do liner. But I'm willing to keep experimenting with it and see where we go. Okay, my boyfriend cleaned me up a little bit with a Q-tip, and now I have an eyeliner. No, just kidding, we just did that. I have a mascara from Guide Beauty, and I have a brow gel from Guide Beauty. They feel the exact same. There is no identifying characteristics that for me as a blind person would allow me to know which one is which. So I'm just going to open it and we will find out.
Oh, it's a long, really, really long mascara, I think.
I think this one is the brow gel. If it's it's a very small applicator. Yeah, that would be the brow gel, I think. And then just to make sure, we'll check. Yeah, that one feels more like mascara. I keep thinking this is the wand and this is because typically that's how it goes, but it is the opposite. The chunky one is the handle and the thin one is the product. I like that this doesn't have rounded edges, so when you do put it down, it doesn't roll away. Again, this wand is so long and chunky, it's quite difficult for me, but I like how tiny the actual gel applicator is.
Oh yeah, you're definitely
messy.
Missing.
Yeah, it's because I feel so far away from it and so chunky that the handle is so chunky compared to how thin the wand is that it's really hard for me to gauge where the heck it is.
Okay, yeah, it's probably too dark for you a little bit, I would say.
We're looking scary. Okay, I have I have three. I'm not gonna use the Tilt Beauty one because we already went over it. I have this Guide Beauty one, obviously, that I will try on one eye. And then I have this beauty, which is by Okio, I wanna say it's pronounced. The braille on it says O-K-K-I-Y-O. Okio? Okio. Okio Accio. It is by an ophthalmologist. It is an indie brand out of Australia, and all of these are designed by an ophthalmologist to be eye safe and eye friendly for people with sensitive eyes and eye health issues. I have used this and I really like it. The braille is so good. It is like printed on there. It is amazing. Love the braille. I just wish, instead of just telling me the brand name, it also on one of the edges said the shade name. I don't know if this one's brown or if it's black. Genuinely, I have no clue. So that would be something I would recommend to them. But overall, I love that it has flat edges, so when I knock it over, it's not gonna roll. I love that it's a pretty short packaging. We've got a pretty petite wand that is straight, which makes it a lot easier for me as a blind person to apply. I also like that it clicks. Very satisfying, so you know it's like really locked in there. We're gonna go in with this one first. I do not doubt this will be a disaster. What does the wand look like? Is the wand straight or is it curved? Okay, so that's good. That'll help me. Okay, we're going in. Okay, on this eye, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Okay, I'm gonna try to flip. Well, that's good. Good formula, good wand.
Yeah, wow.
It wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Ooh, found it, okay. Just for funsies, you know what? I'm gonna go in and do a second and third coat, and we'll see each application process and how it differs. So let's go in with the Accio one. I can go much quicker. Like, I don't feel like I have to be as precise because the wand for me is just much more comfortable. She says as she blobs her face. I got too overconfident. So I'm just gonna do that one on the one eye, and then tilt, which I know is gonna be difficult. Oh God. This one is actually, the tilt one for me personally is the hardest. The grip of the guide one is more uncomfy than the tilt, but just the tilt wand is so unfriendly as a blind makeup person. So I would rank that as like my least favorite. But overall, I think tilt is probably out of all of these brands doing the most in terms of trying to check every box of every category for every disability. And they're still so new, like they just launched earlier this year. So I'm really excited to see with more R&D, with more consultation, how much further they can continue to improve, especially as they succeed and have more funding, right? We need these brands to continue to succeed in order to continue to have budgets to push the needle forward. So I'm gonna clean up and then give my final thoughts. Okay, so the makeup look is complete. I'll put a close-up so you can see the final look. Honestly, I'm feeling a little insecure about this makeup because all of these products are so foreign to me. We definitely went through more Q-tips cleaning this makeup up today than we typically do. But I am excited to continue to experiment with some of these products. I think like the Tilt lip liner is definitely gonna be something I'm adding into my rotation. I love the Accio mascara. I'm really excited to keep playing with the palette from Cheekbone Beauty and the Scrandy products. So yeah, I'm really excited to keep using these things. And if you have any other recommendations of brands who are either intentionally or unintentionally being more accessible and inclusive, specifically for blind people with their cosmetic products, I would love to know, and let me know if there's any other brands you'd like to see me review or talk about more in depth. All in all, really excited that these brands exist. If any of them want to continue to further their exploration of how to make products continually more inclusive and accessible, I would love to have those conversations. You know where to find me. And until next time, you can click over here if you want to see the full review I did of Rare Beauty, or over here to see one that I did on Fenty Beauty. Bye.